Hello and welcome to the next upload from Legoland Malaysia. Now we're going to be making our way over to the Lego Technic section of the park. As we can see, we've got the massive hotel in front of us, and just to the right hand side as we pan round, we have this enormous Miniland section. Now the Miniland is already available in a separate upload, so if you want to see that in greater detail, then obviously head yourself over to the Legoland Malaysia playlist and you'll be able to see it with all of its glory. Now directly in front of us now, where the white canopy is, that is actually the entrance. To the left hand side is the big shop, and then all the high rises behind that are not to do with the Legoland accommodation at all. But we are making our way over to the Technic section, which is not the biggest section of the park. It's a bit different how this is laid out to some of the other Legoland parks. Some of the areas are absolutely enormous, like for example the Lego City section, and then some of them you've got quite small sections but really close together. So there's multiple lands around this way, but some of them aren't huge, but everything does have something for everybody, which is always a nice thing to see. But as we are making our way over, you can see the amazing Legoland symbol in the background. I think you can actually see that from the water park, because there is a Legoland water park on site. Obviously you need a separate ticket for it, and obviously it was closed at the time of me being there and I wouldn't have had enough time to go anyway. But if you have been to the water park, is that the best place to see the Legoland symbol from? Now, with regards to some of the models, these are dotted around all over the park, and like I said before, they have got lots and lots of shops and stock of lots of Lego City sets and all of the other sets as well. But I do quite like that painting. I'm pretty sure they've got a slightly newer one of those at Legoland California now, so it's quite nice to see what is potentially the original one. And then as we pan round, you have got the hotel in the distance, and now we are walking into the next section of the park. Now you have, if I remember rightly, got a little water ride on the right hand side, and then this is where the Lego Technic roller coaster is on the left hand side. So as we come through, you can see Lego Technic. This is something that I do like. You can see all of the different bits and pieces that are there, and then it tells you your minimum height that you need to be able to get on the rides before you actually get into the land. So at least that way you don't have to run and queue up and then you get measured and your little ones aren't tall enough. As long as you know the height of your child, you will be absolutely living the dream. Now I didn't think actually there was as much in this park, or this section of the park, as I thought it was, but everything is actually quite close together, so it doesn't take too long to walk around. But you could see by that symbol there was quite a few rides. Now you've got the ride obviously there to my left, you've got the big roller coaster now directly in front of us. That was not open at the time of this being filmed, and I do believe the water one is just to the right hand side, and again you can see the Legoland symbol in the distance. That's how far away the water park is, but that there I do believe is either the entrance to the water park as that ride is going around, or that is another way in and out for the hotel. So this is almost like your private entry in and out. It does look like the water park gate is just a little bit further through that sign. Obviously it was shut and locked, so a bit like Legoland Dubai, you can go between the two parks and you can obviously get back to your hotel room nice and easy. So for example, if you wanted to run from this park to get your swim stuff to then go into the water park, you can do, and you don't have to worry about holding on to everything all day, which it makes things really easy. The hotel location is in a great location for the park, because obviously we've just seen that you would come in through the park, turn left, and it's right on the corner, so you can come in and you're right beside one of the main roller coasters. And I would imagine if you have a park view room, you would have a really nice view of the park. Now this Lego Technic ride is the same as what they have dotted all over a couple of the other Legoland parks as well. We have seen this in California, and I have been on it in the one in Florida as well. It's a fun little ride. It depends if this one has the VR headset or not. There are some pay to plays just here. So again, to the left hand side you can do a pay to play. Now I did get on this ride later on in the day. It was closed for testing in the morning, but it did open up later on. But what they were doing and working on, I'm not 100% sure. So they've obviously removed something there, because it did say excuse our mess. So I genuinely thought originally when I came into the park it was for this area, because like I've said in all of the uploads that I've done separately, I have gone to area for the first ever time. I did not know where I was going, so it's just good fun to try and soak it all in. But you can see the staff are there at the front with the sign out the front, because it is all closed off. So that's potentially why this area is also very, very quiet, because people might have seen it on the app that it was closed. But you have got your lockers just beside it if you want to put your bits and pieces in there. And obviously that fan was doing a very good job. It did help to keep me cool when I was walking underneath it. Now, as we come through, basically everything else now is like a big horseshoe. So we just walk all the way through, and then we turn back around again. So there's a couple of pay-to-plays. There's a little area that we've got to go in to see some like building activity, and then as we come round, we will, there it is, we will see some of the slides for the water park. Now that does look like it's bigger than the one that they've got at Legoland Dubai. Now, I've been very, very lucky to do the water park at Legoland Dubai, and it is just a nice area to go and actually chill out as well. It's quite adult heavy, the water park at Dubai, but I think it's because it's just so hot. People just go there because it's the closest place for water as well. Now, I have said this in a couple of uploads. There are Star Wars characters absolutely everywhere. Now keep your eyes peeled for the Rebuild the World video, because I will be adding in some of the older stuff from Legoland Windsor and doing it as a bit of a comparison to what the Rebuild the World section is currently, because it's a bit of an Easter egg to the reason why there's so many Star Wars models dotted all over the place. But after I'd walked around that section, which is basically the next section on, it was very, very impressive to see. But you have got a nice little area just on the inside there. If you wanted to get away, obviously, from the sunshine. A lot of the buildings were air conditioned as well. And obviously what I massively appreciate is all of the seating and the amount of easiness with regards to just the shade that they've created. But I've said this quite a lot now. It does seem to be that some of the parks further away from home, so I'm comparing this to California and now obviously Malaysia as well, the actual widths of the paths are very, very nice, because you can sit yourself down, you can grab yourself a bite to eat, and you are nowhere near people walking past you at all. Whereas I've always said it, I've always found Windsor quite tight, but it's because it's based up on a hill. Obviously it used to be an old zoo, and it is what it is. But as we're coming through, this is the Rebuild the World section. Now I think that this is going to have a full redo at some point, because the Rebuild the World stuff has sort of been and gone, their anniversary has been and gone. But what we've basically just done is a big horseshoe, because just behind us is where the mini land is as well. But that is going to be in its own separate video, because that is what I thought was literally just going to be a couple of models on the inside. And it was amazing to realise that it was actually the old Star Wars walkthrough attraction, and they still had some bits and pieces there. So as we're coming back in, we will, I think, have a quick look at the Ferrari. This is the reason why I do a full loop, because coming in from the other way, I did not even know what we are coming over to now would have been there. If you just walk around these parks one way and you don't keep everything to your left, you will miss this kind of stuff. Now, obviously, in case you didn't know, but it is a bit obvious now that they have a massive license with Ferrari, and all of the Legoland parks around the world, they are getting full-scaled cars in, where they have got areas where you can build different Ferrari vehicles and then go race them on their sort of track test areas. This car is the first time I've seen this one at any of the parks, but I would imagine it was there before the Ferrari thing became a thing. So if they do the big Ferrari World, because that didn't look like it was a full-scaled car, I wonder if they get that in a larger scale. Because if you didn't realise what the one that was, I do believe that is the Ferrari from the Le Mans, and that might be the Le Mans winning car as well. So it is a very, very famous car, because what they do is they put one full-scale Ferrari at each Legoland park around the world, and if you want to see all of them, well, you've got to get round to every single different Legoland. But in the inside of here, you've got some cool little areas where you can get some bits and pieces built, which is always a nice bit of fun. And you can see you've obviously got the local flag, and you've got the nice little build just there with the Lego. And then you've got some really nice houses and all the other little bits and pieces. So obviously these have been done by basically guests of the park and maybe a few members of staff as well. And then you can have to book to go into those rooms to be able to build some bits and pieces. Obviously it's meant for slightly younger ones as well, but it's almost like a quiet space, which is quite a nice little thing to do. So obviously you can just get in there. But I do like the fact that they did have, and they have brought back the trade up your minifigures, which means if you have a minifigure that you want to swap, they do have areas where you can then just swap them over. And you can see you've got all these really nice displays just behind. It did look very, very impressive indeed. Now, again, they've got a bit of history of the actual Lego group. Started in 1932. Long story short, it used to be wood stuff, hence the duck. Then there was 2 massive fires. Then they changed to plastic, and then the rest is history, minus a little bit of a wobble with some horrible games that they did in the mid-2000s where they nearly went bankrupt. And now they are striving again, which is fantastic to see. But you can see you've got the Asian deli just on that bit. So that did actually, in all fairness, smell very, very nice. In the full park tour, when I've gathered my bearings, we will be having a look at all of the different menus and all of that kind of thing, and seeing all the different eateries and basically all the food that's on offer. I took loads and loads of photos with my phone, and I will be adding all of that footage into lots of different videos as they get uploaded. But guys, we are very, very quickly starting to run out of time. So if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. It does look like there should have been, or there might have been, something in the middle, and they have pulled that bit out, and they might be doing some work just there, because there is notices on the website of exactly what is what. But what this is to do with, I'm not 100% sure. It kind of looks like it should be fountains, so I did take the risk of walking through, because it would have been quite funny if they suddenly turned on. And of course you have got this as well. So there, I do believe I have seen this at every single Legoland park that I have been to. But the theming is not the same, because obviously Legoland Windsor is completely different theming to this. This was running, but they only had the one side running. They had the big squid like they've got in Dubai, because obviously it's quite a nice thing. And very similar to Dubai, they have this ride in the same location as what they do for Dubai. So if you wanted to go on this ride and get soaking wet and then move over to the water park, you easily can do. And then this is the huge squid. So you can see just all the detail that was in this model. And again, it did look very, very impressive. So you might see in the distance there might be the test track shooting around. I did, like I said, manage to get on that later on in the afternoon, and it was quite quick actually. It's a good bit of fun, but it's obviously meant for slightly younger ones, but at the same time it's always good to test these bits and pieces out and just see if the track layout is different or anything like that. But this one was not the VR. So I said at the start it did depend if it was the VR. This one was not, because it didn't have the headsets at the time of me being there. But if you have been there since or before and you have had the headset, then please do let me know. But guys, I really do think that is it, and I am done. So get in the comment section below, let us know what your local Legoland park is. Have you been to Legoland Malaysia? Are you a fan of this park? I really, really do like it. You can see there, look, as it's going round. I think we're about to catch one of them dropping down, hence why I'm walking over here quite slowly. See, it does say there, look, the world's first Lego VR coaster, but the virtual reality hasn't been working for a long, long time. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.